Hello and welcome back to today's video. Today we are going to be covering a book that's about a little more of a serious topic. Today's book is called Goodbye to Goodbyes. This is another book in the Tales That Tell the Truth series. These are by the Good Book Company. We love all of these books in this series, but today we're going to talk about this one that covers a little bit more of a heavy topic about death and goodbyes. So this one is a true story about Jesus, Lazarus, and an empty tomb. It's by Lauren Chandler and illustrated by Catalina Echeverri, who does all of the Tales That Tell the Truth series. This story is about Lazarus, and it introduces us. It talks about how in the little town of Bethany there was a man named Lazarus, and he had two sisters. And a little boy loves to say, Mary loved to throw a party, and Mary loved to sit and listen. And Lazarus loved his two sisters. So it introduces us to his family and tells us how Lazarus got sick, and how his sisters wrote to Jesus and said, please come, our brother is sick, we need your help. So they go on, and Jesus gets the message, but guess what Jesus does? Nothing. He doesn't do anything. Jesus is with his disciples, and he tells them that Lazarus is very sick and that they will go to Bethany, but not yet. So they wait a few days, and then he tells them that Lazarus has died. And they make their way to Bethany, and Jesus meets Mary and Martha. And the book kind of shares a little bit of Jesus' character with us, and how his heart breaks for his friends, and how Jesus cries with his friends, and how sometimes situations like that can be very hard, and how Jesus can help relate to us and our little ones in that fact that how sometimes we do get sad, and goodbyes are really hard because we're not sure, Mary and Martha weren't sure that they would see him, again. So the book says Jesus' heart broke, and even though that he knew what he was about to do, he was sad for Mary and Martha. Jesus comes to the tomb and he says, take away the stone. And it says, Jesus yelled like a lion's mighty roar, Lazarus, come out. And he did. I love this beautiful imagery of this whole page here about Lazarus coming out of the tomb. The book goes on to tell us that they celebrated Lazarus rising from the dead, and how Jesus also had to go to Jerusalem, where he would be the only, where he would actually be the one to say goodbye and die, like Lazarus, but then walk out of the tomb alive 3 days later. So the book kind of brings this story full circle for us, from Lazarus' death and resurrection to Jesus' death and his resurrection. And the book explains to us how it was sad for Jesus' friends to say goodbye, but they would see him again in the land that lay after their dying, in the land where there are no more goodbyes, not ever. And then in these last few pages, it kind of gives us some illustrations that your little one might understand. So having to leave grandma's house for a short time or maybe a long time, or saying goodbye to a friend in a hospital who you don't know if you might see again. So it says Jesus knows it's hard to say goodbye. So Jesus came to end goodbyes forever. And then it gives us the parent page at the end. It tells you where you can find the story of Lazarus. It talks about how it's in John chapter 11, and how death is such a difficult topic, I think, for anyone, but especially for littles, because that's a lot for them to have to comprehend and a lot to understand. And I think that Lauren Chandler, in sharing Goodbye to Goodbyes, does a wonderful job of explaining that for us, and how Lazarus died and rose again, and Jesus died and rose again. But if we are in Christ, if you have a relationship with Jesus Christ, that these goodbyes that we have to say are not forever. It's not a forever goodbye, because Jesus came and died on the cross so that we could have that relationship with him, and that when we die, we will be with him, and that we will be with all of the saints in heaven together. So, Goodbye to Goodbyes by Lauren Chandler, illustrated by Catalina Echeverri, Tales That Tell the Truth series. Hope that you can add this one to your little one's library, and until next time, bye.